Okay, let me just turn my volume down. Hello and welcome to Android App Addicts number 591. I'm your host, Ivor Davies, coming to you from New Zealand, and sitting with me is DoorToDoorGeek, Steve McLaughlin. Steve, how you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm doing much better now that I got a chance to sit down and podcast. It seemed like all last week, everybody I know was sick at least once. For like 3 days, I was completely just laying in bed, body ache, headache, everything, just not good.
But the whole family's been out with it as well. So I should also mention that this episode is brought to you by Captain Zero. So thank you, Captain Zero. He's our Patreon supporter of the month.
Yeah, absolutely. What am I missing? No, I'm not airplane. Do not disturb. That's all I want to do. Just to make sure no boops comes through the podcast. So we're gonna first just touch. Yeah, we're gonna first just touch on Android hardware, and I'll say for a change, we got some news. What did you receive in the mail there, Ivor?
Yes, I believe we're both the holders of brand new mobile phones. I've got an Asus Zenfone 8 Flip, which is a 2021 phone, but hey, early 2023, so I'm quite happy with it. It's running Android 13. They call it the Flip because it's got a little the camera on the back. You press a button on the camera app, it flips up, and it becomes a selfie camera. And then when you're finished, it flips back down again, and it becomes a regular camera. So you're using effectively your back camera for both selfies and for regular shots, which I think is great. But the thing that I really like about it, I did a panoramic shot with it yesterday, and the camera, when you select the panoramic mode and you press the shutter button, the camera, the flip mechanism moves in 3 different stages all by itself, and it takes and then it stitches those 3 images together, which I thought was extremely impressive and worth every penny I've got it so far.
Yeah, that the best thing about that is that the manufacturer only has to pay for one good camera, and you get full advantage using it every way.
Yeah, and I get to pay for 2, the same cost as 2 anyway. Phone with 2 phones with 2 cameras. Never mind. But it's a great phone, little phone. I've got it's got an 8 gigabyte RAM. It's got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. The only real problem I have with it is the in-screen fingerprint sensor. It's really slow and really bad. I prefer the fingerprint sensor to be on the side button, which my last 2 phones have had and been really fast and responsive. This one is terrible. So hopefully there'll be an update soon. And when I started up, I had to have about 78 updates. But apart from that, I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah. As soon as you get a new phone, basically what I always do is I just get everything set up. I log into everything, then I just set the phone down and walk away for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Just do everything it needs to do.
Yeah. But I went into a new phone hole for half a day. My wife comes out and says, "Oh, what do you think we should have for lunch?" And I said, "Jesus, at lunchtime already." I'm just sitting there staring at my phone for half the morning. Valentine's Day happened, and my wife made it very clear that her and my oldest son were incredibly tired of me complaining and cussing out my phone. And she didn't like the fact that when we got in the van and I plugged everything up and I turned on navigation and I put where we went to go, sometimes it would take like 3 minutes. I was using the 1+1 Nord. All of a sudden, LTE connectivity issues dropped out. I then started using my oldest son's old Moto G7 Power. And the way he described that phone was when it ran smooth, it ran great. But at least once a day, it would run like concrete, where it would just almost seize up and stop. And at least every day or 2, it would just on its own just reboot. Like there's some kind of internal eMMC hardware issue going on. I don't know. So she basically, on Valentine's Day, bought me a Pixel 6a. I always said I don't like the idea of being a Google beta tester. That's why I never bought Pixels. I technically don't really feel like a beta tester yet, except I have had just a couple little weird things where all of a sudden the home screen becomes unresponsive. And that's the worst of it so far. I will say I do have the in-screen fingerprint reader, and I'm really shocked at how well and how fast the damn thing works. I'm just, that, and I just show people, and they all think, well, that's not a real fingerprint reader. That's just some like fake app you have right now. And I'm like, no, go ahead and put your finger on it. And they're like, oh, yeah, it does work. I'm like, yeah. So I'm so far liking it. Everything really snappy. I will say the onboarding, an air quote, is the only phone that I have had in my life that actually does proper onboarding. And I don't mean just logging into accounts. I mean, when you're done all of that, the next screen that pops up says, here are some features you might like to load. Here are some things you might like to enable. Here are some things you might not know about the phone, kind of thing, which I thought was a pleasant surprise. It didn't shove stuff down my throat, nor did it just leave me to find all of the hidden gems on my own, kind of thing. I will say the magic eraser, I showed it to my wife and she said, if you would have shown me that like 10 years ago, I would have thought you were like a magician hacker kind of thing, because that works way too good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So did you know you were going to get a Pixel 6 before she bought it, or she just decided you were going to get a Pixel 6 and that was it?
She just went on her own and bought it. She knows my deep-seated dislike of South Korean Samsung devices. And then here's the sad part. I now listen to like 3 or 4 podcasts that say the Pixel 6, all of them, and the Pixel 7s are basically like 98% of all the internals are Samsung parts.
Mm. Yeah, I saw that article a little while ago.
Yeah, so it's like...
so you've really got a Samsung.
Yeah, basically, yes.
What about that computational photography? Is that ever tried that out yet?
I don't even know what that means. I just taken a couple pictures of the cat and the food, and it seems to work fine. I magic erasered my son out of a couple pictures, which, I thought was pretty funny. The one thing I will say is the battery life on this thing is almost insane. I'm just shocked at how I don't have to plug it up. I don't have to charge it up. And this is the only phone that I've had that when I plug it up to a device, it in like less than 30 seconds tells me all the time how long till charged. And when I've tested it, it's within like 2 or 3 minutes every time. Because I know the old phones I had, it would sometimes say like an hour, and then I would watch the timer go, hour, 55 minutes, 50 minutes, 58 minutes, 45 minutes, and it would just jump all over the place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I noticed with my phone, it tends, well, I use it as a dash cam on my car, and that really pounds the battery. I mean, I went from about 70% to 20% in one 20-minute drive. It was really bad. When I got back, I plugged it back in again. It was quite warm too. I plugged it back in, and within 20 minutes, it was back up to 90%. So it charges quickly, but yeah, it goes down quickly as well.
Right. Yeah. The speeding of some charging is like literally almost insane off the charts how fast.
Yep.
And I will say one thing that makes me feel better is even this phone. This is supposed to be, flagship, or whatever. Now, every single phone I've ever had, if I don't reboot it every couple weeks, when I plug it up to Android Auto, will tell me the cord is no good. Try a different cord. So it's an Android Auto thing is slipping. It's something about it is causing it to either not reset when you unplug the device to be completely released from memory, or there's other stuff running in memory that it is having a hard time competing with, is the only way I can put it. Okay. And it really is absolutely obnoxious. The last thing you want to do, especially if you're going someplace new, is get in the car, plug it up, and then say, oh, I got to reboot. What? Sorry, I got to reboot the phone. Not cool. That's one of the things that they should be able to easily fix, but this has literally been going on now for at least 3 years. So
3 years.
I mean, it's my very first Android Auto device in my, I can't remember now if my Mazda, no, Mitsubishi. I can't remember if the Mitsubishi had Android Auto or not. I know I've had this car and it's virtually paid off. So it's been at least 5 years.
At least.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so we both got new hardware. That's great.
Yeah. And now the question is, how long are these going to last for us? Now, with that said,
yeah,
I'm going to say
mine doesn't last as long as yours.
Well, I'm going to say for you, there's no reason for it to not be at least till the end of 2023 until you start to get, because 8 gigs of RAM to me, that's the whole thing. Android, again, is RAM. You get 8 gigs of RAM. There's no reason for that thing to not be snappy as hell for at least
like yeah,
8 or 12
very
months.
Fast. Yeah, it's got a Snapdragon 888 as well. It's it's pretty good.
That's nice.
Having said that, I do still kind of have a yen for the 12 gig of RAM version.
And it wasn't that long ago where we were like kidding around, like any day now, 8 gigs of RAM. But as you can attest to, Android uses it.
That's right. Well, that's because it's different to Apple, because Apple uses ones and zeros. It turns all its apps into ones and zeros, and Android doesn't do that. So it uses a lot more RAM, especially when it's using web wrappers or apps that are web versions of themselves. So that's why it uses more RAM than an iPhone, but it doesn't mean it's any worse.
Well, yeah, and it's basically based off of everything about Android is based off of Java, hence the multi-year lawsuit. And the idea of Java is you code once, you run anywhere, because everything is running in essentially a virtual machine layer of application, with the different architectures in there. Because quite literally, Snapdragon, Qualcomm, the Sam Exynos, all of them are technically different kinds of processors. While they all are ARM, they have different things going on, and the virtual layer of Android makes it to where it doesn't matter and it just runs. That's also the reason why when you have a good running phone, and you pull up like the apps list, you can go back 20 apps, click it, and it loads right up, because Android keeps everything in RAM, period. So the more RAM, the better every bit of your experience is going to be.
And that's why you don't need a cleaner app as well.
Well, that's why if you do, you technically age your device quicker and you give it worse performance.
And those apps are really dodgy as well.
Most of them are incredibly dodgy, yes. If you have a really, really, really super old device, and you have a very limited number of apps you want to install, and you have a cleaner, I understand why, but that's about it.
That's right. Now, I remember the days when 3 gigabyte was good.
Oh yeah,
hankering after 4.
Yeah,
it's very RAM hungry, but that's just the way the system runs, and that's the way it works. Sorry, you might hear some noises in the background. My daughter has a friend over, and they're getting they're starting to jump up and down. So
they're kids. You'll have that.
They're kids.
One bit of like Android news I wanted to bring up really quick. Josh was really upset at, and it was basically that Android police reported that Google announced that they're bringing the magic eraser, in air quote, to all kinds of Android phones, not just Pixel devices, not just but to every, in air quote, possible smartphone. The gimmick is you have to have a Google One account or a subscription. Sorry, Google One subscription. He wasn't too happy about that part, but
Now, what is a Google One subscription? I've seen it. I've seen Google One, but I don't know what it is. I should do.
Well, what I can tell, I was basically grandfathered into a Google One subscription because I have a 2 terabyte Google Drive account. So if you get the smallest Google Drive account subscription, you're automatically in Google One.
Right.
Google One tries to be the number one place you can go to if you want to buy Google devices, Pixel devices, Next Hub kind of thing. They're pushing really hard on the shopping thing. They even have once in a while like perks. You go and you click in, and for certain places they'll give you like a coupon for $2 off kind of thing. Nothing to write home about. They're trying to be like, dare I say, like the central place where you can get other subscriptions and other services done by Google. And I believe that's the reason why I got it, was my 2 terabyte storage plan. So if you have a Google Drive plan where you're paying for any amount of storage, I'm pretty sure you're automatically in Google One. So if you are, then you should be able to enable Magic Eraser technically on all phones. Now, with the caveat, it wouldn't shock me if you have, 2-3-year-old phone, you load the Magic Eraser, you click something, don't be shocked if it takes like 30 seconds or more for it to decide what to do and do it.
So that's because it's using the new Tensor chip on the Google phone and using a regular on the other phone. Yeah.
Yeah. On my phone, I know the application is explicitly designed to take advantage of that microprocessor. On the other devices, it wouldn't shock me if it's either pushing it again through a virtual layer or it literally needs network connectivity maybe to have a server do it with, more oomph.
Okay. So we've seen foldables coming out, and just recently there have been some rollables coming out. We've got some rollable screens. If you check out Mr. Mobile's YouTube channel, Michael Fisher, he have a whole bunch of he had a review on some rollable phones that he tried out. Have you seen these, Dor?
The one that I saw that I was kind of impressed with until I saw the side view of the phone was
about 3 foot thick.
Well, no. The thickness wasn't the part that bothered me. The part that bothered me was when the rollable went up and the screen got bigger. When you turn it sideways, the screen itself was literally like paper thin. To where if you have it extended and you bump it the wrong way, I would be afraid what could happen. Is what I'm going to say. And everybody I showed it to was like, "Whoa, what? That seems crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Well, guess what? Pretty soon they're going to be almost like normal." And of course, my oldest son was like, "That's stupid. Why would you want that? Why would you want a phone?" And me and my wife both at the same time were like, "So it would fit in your pocket easier?" I mean, why else would you want a smaller phone?
Yeah, there it is. That one at the top there. Yeah, I'm sort of torn. I can't really decide whether this is going to be the next big thing or if it's going to be just a fad.
Yeah. I don't think this
I'm guessing it's going to be a fad.
Like the future.
I can't.
I think this could be incorporated into something else to where this plus that equals something greater. But on its own, it's just, I don't know. Anytime you have moving parts, like your camera thing, I worry. I worry a lot because moving means friction. Friction means the ability to fail.
Yeah. And moving parts, you're guaranteed one of them is going to fail sometime.
Yeah.
But they've put them on laptops as well. You can get a laptop with a rolling screen. So I can see a bit more of a use for that. Again, I'm not really compelled to go out and buy one, but if that's what people need, I suppose then they're going to buy it.
Well, I mean, the only advantage I see to a rollable phone versus a foldable phone is even with the shorter screen, you don't need any special Android programming for everything. That really just should work and should fit and should be familiar to you as well. And the only time you should say to myself, I need this phone to be unrolled to be bigger, is either you're watching full screen video or long form writing, or just you need your doom scrolling screen to be bigger, so you can doom scroll faster.
Yep. Where, I think we all spend far too much time doom scrolling. So I don't know, maybe one day we won't need these rollable screens. I certainly don't. Anyway, this is what floats your boat. Why not? You want a rollable phone? You go and get one.
Right. And then we did have, I want to say it was Mobile World Congress. I'm not sure now that I say that out loud. They had another couple things being shown. One of them was the official OnePlus foldable phone. And it was expected and suspected this would be available in many countries this year. Again, I mean, I really do like OnePlus as a company. I really do like the way that they're capable and the way they're doing things. And I'm sure the foldable screen hinge has already been through at least 3 or 4 generations. There's little doubt in my mind they're now almost to the point to where they can make it to where you can literally have it for years and you're not going to have any extra damage from folding and unfolding. The question is when the screen is on, how visible is that crease going to be? And I believe they're doing the kind of foldable phone where when it's closed, you basically have no screen.
Yep. I kind of view OnePlus as the fat Elvis of mobile phones. They started out great with a hiss and a roar. They had the cheapest, best phones. They were really popular. And then they got complacent. They started producing rubbish. And but every now and then they come out with a burning love and and they surprise you.
Yeah, I will say once the original designer guy left, it was kind of obvious this is not the same company anymore. And every year it just becomes a little bit more obvious where they have, some phones are just too expensive compared to what they were. And then they're supposedly this year they're coming out with the foldable phone. They're coming out with a tablet as well.
Yes. I was interested about the tablet.
Yeah. And there was a third thing. I can't remember what it was. But they're supposedly coming out with like 3 things this year that they basically never came out with before. So I give them credit for trying to innovate. But once in a while, you need to just do what you do good and stick with that.
Absolutely. Yep. Cool. Did we get any mail?
I do not believe we have any email.
Oh.
Let me click real quick.
January
30th.
It was about mountain range apps. Did you see that?
Mountain range apps.
Sorry. Yes. Let me try and find it. I think it was from Steve. But if you want to do some riffing while I find the email.
Okay. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about, just because it's again completely different, is Huawei is coming out with the Huawei Watch Buds. It's a complete mouthful, I admit, but it is literally one of these things you're never going to see anything like this again. It's a Huawei watch, and inside of the watch, you flip open, like, dare I say, Get Smart style, 007 style. You flip the face of the watch open, and inside are basically 2 earbuds inside the watch. And then you basically have your earbuds anywhere you are. Part of me really loves the idea of this. Part of me is terrified about how short of a battery life they're going to have because they're so teeny tiny. How it's going to adversely affect the battery life of the phone itself. I'm extremely, 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 extremely interested in it either way, because this is just the kind of geekery stuff that I just think is really cool.
I think this is awesome. I mean, it's totally impractical. I'd probably lose the buds within 10 seconds, but I love it.
Yeah, 400 and around $544 US. Yeah. Or if you want to pre-order, it's only $472. Oh, wow. Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's all right then. Okay, I found my email. It's from Steve Woodyard. I hope I pronounced that right, Steve. I think Steve lives in the UK. Now, he noticed that our last episode, my audio was subpar, and I do apologize for that again. I seem to be cursed with these things. My microphone levels are way down, too low, and you could hardly hear me. But Dor did some fantastic jiggery pokery and managed to get a semi-listenable audio podcast out of it. So thanks, Dor, for rescuing my audio. But you can also just listen to the YouTube episode as well if you have any problems. But hopefully we've got it all sorted out now, and I'll make sure that we don't have bad audio in the future. But Steve sent us an email on the 11th of February, and he's saying he noticed our
there's been an app he's been using quite a bit lately called Libby, which is it basically connects to your local library, and you add your library card number and password, and then you have access to thousands of books from your local library, magazines and audio books for free. There's a widget too, so you can carry on listening from where you left off with the hit of a button. You can borrow up to 10 items and reserve 3. You get 2 weeks to listen or read, and then you can renew if nobody's waiting. I'm not sure if that is just a UK only app or it's available in other countries too. Well, it is available in other countries. It's available in my country. And my wife uses it, and I have used it in the past as well. Also, when I was driving to work, I noticed some hills in the distance that got me wondering if there was an app where you can hold your camera up and will add a virtual overlay to tell you where you're looking at. I may have asked this question before, so my apologies if I've already done so. Anyway, I look forward to listening or watching your latest episodes soon. So I went back to Steve and apologized for the audio quality, but I explained that I haven't really had an opportunity I've seen those mountain range apps, but I haven't really tried using one. And he came back with a recommendation. He found a couple of apps called Show Me Hills, free on F-Droid, and Peak Finder for £3.99 on the Play Store. I'm going to download them. He was going to download them. That was on the 31st of January. Now, let's see. So he went back. He did a bit more testing. So he's tested out Show Me Hills free on F-Droid, and it's basic but free. It shows a handful of highest landmarks. And then he tested Peak Finder, which one was £3.99 on the Play Store, and that's much better. Now you can download the map so you don't need an internet connection. You can just point your phone at it, and it adds an overlay of the hills and horizon, telling you which hills you can see and how high they are. You can also take a photo with the overlays on too. Well, that's good. And today I found another app which is free and really cool called Horizon Explorer AR. And he's provided links, and I'll put all those links in the chat as well. So you need an internet connection, and it eats through your battery pretty quickly, but the amount of detail and information it gives you is insane. Not only does it tell you the names of the hills, but also the towns and the villages. It has a map at the bottom to show you where you're looking at. There's also a crosshair which tells you the name of the road, river, canal, building that you're pointing at, with the option to have a pop-up for a brief Wikipedia entry too. You can also switch to a 3D map, which allows you to see around you, but you can search anywhere in the world. As you move your phone, it builds the next chunk of the map. You can pan around you. As you lift your phone up and down, it zooms in and out. I would definitely recommend Horizon Explorer AR, and I think you'll end up spending many an hour exploring the world around you. Anyway, take care and look forward to the next Android App Addicts episode. So I haven't had a chance to try it out yet, but sounds that's a pretty good endorsement from Steve. He sounds pretty enthusiastic about it, so I will install it today and check it out. Have you ever tried anything like this before, Dor?
Honestly, I never even considered the idea of this app, pause, until my wife was watching an absolutely horrible show called Alert Missing Persons Unit, just started in 2023. One of the main actors is a guy everyone would notice, Scott Kahn, Kahn, the actor, his son. What's his? I'm trying to remember his name now.
Terrible with actors' names.
I know. Well, either way, he's a face that you will notice, kind of thing. But it was an absolutely horrible show about finding people's kids, but then they kept inserting pseudoscience and praying and incense and all kinds of garbage. It is complete garbage show. But in this garbage show, the tech person supposedly can look at the picture, look in the background, and see the peaks of the hills and identify where someone is using those peaks of the hills. I thought to myself, I hate this show, but I think that does make sense. And now, thanks to our email, these apps really do actually exist, and you don't need some stupid show with some stupid person doing it. You can just literally download the app, point at the hills, and it'll just tell you. So yeah, you don't.
That's the old classic TV show trope, isn't it? The magic software that does everything within the
enhance. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to definitely give these at least a look-see kind of thing. I just find them interesting. I mean, the only time you would really need one is like you get kidnapped and you break out and you're like, where am I at? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, well, if you're new to an area and you don't know what's around you, you can and you're keen on heading up into the hills and having a tramp around in the hills, then yeah, it might be handy for that as well.
Yeah, and then I'm not like stopping and thinking. See, I'm in Maryland, which is a weird state. Technically, there are mountains over on the other side. The like one of the like kitschy things about Maryland is ecologically known as miniature America. We have every single type of environment in America except for a desert. We got mountains, we have snow things, we have fields, we have hills, we have ocean front, we have waterfront, we have everything. But no matter where I go, it's hard for me to see a mountain unless I'm at a very certain spot over by Frederick, over by the actual Appalachian Mountains, where real mountain people say they're not mountains, they're hills. They're big enough to be mountains. Okay, well, let's just get over that. So yeah, I don't know if I could even use this app. We got a lot of trees. That's my excuse. Trees.
Cool. Anyway, so that's good. Great. Thank you for the email, Steve. And I will definitely be trying out Horizon Explorer. Actually, I'm going to install it right now and give it a go. I'll report back next time. So I suppose we'd talk about some apps.
Yeah, the one app I'm just going to throw out there just super quick. And now, I understand two reasons why Josh is not here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, he doesn't have a new phone, so he can't hang. That's
number
one.
He's not in that club.
Number two, he is hooked on Vampire Survivors like a junkie in the inner city kind of thing. This game is, I'll say this, it's almost difficult to explain, so I'll just do a real brief synopsis of it. But also now it is so popular that you have people creating games and they're being classified as VSLs, Vampire Survivor-like games. This is the kind of game, all of the functionality, everything that happens, there's no reason why this could not have happened on an Atari 2600, just, of course, with much worse graphics. But it's the kind of game that you can play, and at the same time, you can easily hold an intelligent conversation with somebody and not be worse off. Because most games require so much attention and so much thought and so much pre-planning and so much this that you can't do anything except play the game. This is different. You can literally just play the game and literally hold very intelligent conversations and play the game. It's like a mad shoot 'em up, where you have in like never-ending cascading enemies, sometimes in the hundreds, that you cannot slow down. All you can do is kill, and you have power-ups, you have levels, you can combine. If you get high enough levels with certain items, they can combine and become super items, and it's just kill. Again, Vampire Survivors, it's by Podnutz is what I'm going to say. Punkle. 4.8 average reviews, already 1 million plus downloads, T for teen, completely free to download, no in-app purchases, but there is in-app ads. Let me look at the data safety real quick. Data safety, no data is shared with third parties. This app may collect these two data types, location and personal info, and to others. Data is encrypted in transit, and you can request the data to be deleted. This game is all is up to version 1.3.102, updated February 3rd, requires 7.0 Android and up. Yeah, this is just good, dumb fun is what I'm going to say.
Well, I installed Vampire Survivors on my tablet and I gave it a go for about 5 seconds. I couldn't see the point of it. I didn't know what I was doing, what I was supposed to be doing, what all these things were doing, crowding around me, how I was supposed to kill them, where I was supposed to go. It was just, I gave up after 5 minutes, I'm afraid.
Well, the easy thing is you just move. You don't do anything else. You just move. And all of your things auto fire in whatever they do. And the only control you have is you move around. And then when you all level up, you have choices to make. what kind of power up you do, and then just keep moving around, and then make another choice, and then just keep moving around.
So you just keep moving around, killing things.
Yep.
Killing vampires.
Killing everything.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is pretty successful on Steam. It is available on iOS because I got my nephew playing it as well. It is also available, I believe he said, on Xbox Store. I'm not sure about Sony PlayStation Store. This is the kind of game that literally came out of nowhere, blew up. Now game reviewers are upset because right now they said this is the slowest time in game releases that they've seen in years. And everyone who's putting out a game is putting out a Vampire Survivors like game. And they're like, we're getting sick of this now. Come out with something else.
Wow. Yeah, it seems to be a very popular game. Personally, I don't see the attraction, but hey, that's just me.
Did you have any apps you can bring?
Yes, I do actually. So if I said to you, Dor, I lost my job at the keyboard factory today. It turns out I wasn't putting in enough shifts. Would you laugh? No, you wouldn't. But if I said I lost my job at the keyboard factory today, Dor, turns out I wasn't putting in enough shifts, and then I did this.
I would then play back sad trombone.
Sad trombone. Okay, we could probably get it. Anyway, so what I'm getting at here is an app called Podnutz, which I think I don't know why it's called that. That's the sound it makes. But basically, what it does, here it is in the chat. What it does is put a button on your screen, which makes the drum rim shot sound that plays after someone tells a bad joke. And that's all it does. Someone tells a bad joke, you can just press the button and away it goes.
Definitely a useful app, is what I'll say.
Definitely, especially if you're a dad and you tell lots of dad jokes like I do.
Okay, for the people at home, do you want to at least spell Podnutz?
All right, yes. Badum. Badum space T and 3 S's afterwards. Podnutz. Solo button. And it just puts a little button on your screen and you press it and you get the rim shot, classic shot sound that you must hear. It makes any joke funny, I think.
Oh, it's like a laugh track. It's one of those things you might not notice it when it's around, but it's there. And yes, it has effect. Absolutely.
If only the phone would detect when a dad joke is being told and then automatically play it without you having to press the button.
Okay, so what I'm going to bring here is another game over here. It's called Gloom Grave. GLOOMGRAVE. Okay, this is a game that I saw on a YouTube channel where the guy basically reviews what he says is like independent, like small companies or very few people putting out games. This is a rogue light game, which basically means you play the game when you die, because you're going to die always in roguelike games. You get to keep some of the power-ups or some of the money or some of the artifacts that you find. So the next go around, you're going to have a little bit of an easier time moving forward. This is a dungeon crawler. The action in the game is based upon movement or actions. So if you see an enemy, the enemy's not going to do anything until you either move or try to do an action. Then they will get one move when you do one move back again. I love the look of this game. He was playing it on desktop and he was like, it's very obvious this is a Android or a mobile port, but at the same time, it is so good of a game, I'm still going to talk about it, kind of thing. So, and that's kind of rare praise for someone to say you can take a game on mobile, put it on desktop with very little changes, and it's still a very playable, a very quote fun game to play.
Yeah, I saw this, I think, yesterday on the YouTube channel How To Men, which is a great channel, by the way, to look at if you're looking for some great Android app suggestions. But yeah, I saw this and I thought, wow, that's so much like the original version of Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if the map layout would be the same or similar to it.
Well, supposedly every time you, and that's the other thing about a roguelike game, every time you play, every time you restart, the dungeon layout is completely different. One of his complaints was he was hoping that there would be more diverse looking stages. But everything is basically deep purple and lighter shades of purple. And then once in a while, there's some wood.
And moldy green.
Yeah, but he was like,
that's a metaphor for life, really, isn't
it? Yeah. He was like, if you had to complain, that would be it. And this is Gloomgrave by Net Mancer. 152 reviews, 4.6 reviews, 1,000 plus downloads. E for everyone, 10 and up. Data safety, no data is shared with third parties. No data is even collected. I like hearing that. About this game, it was updated on July 7th, 2022. It's eligible for the family library if bought after July 2nd, 2016. Version 0.1, 0.3.1 requires 4.4 Android and up. Updated July 7th, 2022. Permission details, needs nothing. Needs literally nothing to run. It's hard to beat. You need no permissions to run. And in the US right now, $3.99. If you're even look at the video and you find it even mildly interesting, I guarantee you it's worth the money.
And you've played it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, excellent.
And it's the kind of game after like 20, 30 minutes, I got to uninstall because nothing will get done.
You spend too much time playing it.
Yeah.
Excuse my squeaky chair. Sorry. All right. So from crawlings to a few more practical-ish matters, this is an app called Laundry Timer, also which I found on How To Men. So by Ed Hesketh. So basically what it does is it estimates the drying time of laundry outside. So if you hang your laundry up on the line outside, which we do, we don't use our dryer very often at all. We hang it all out. Well, this app will tell you what the weather conditions are like and how long it will take to get various pieces of laundry dry. So if you've got heavy laundry, heavy blankets and sweaters and sheets and stuff like that, large items of laundry, it'll tell you what the drying time for that will be, given the current weather conditions, when it's going to rain, so you can set a reminder, and we'll also set a alarm timer that will go off before that will remind you when the laundry is dry, and tell you when it's going to rain, so you can bring it in on time as well. So hopefully we can get a few people using it, using outdoor drying a bit more often rather than using their dryers inside, which is all good for the planet, I suppose.
And just costs less money.
And exactly, it's free.
Very cool.
So yeah, I like that. I like the idea.
Yeah, that's definitely useful. If my backyard was even big enough, I would consider it. But literally, my backyard is, I want to say, smaller than 1/16 of an acre.
Wow.
It's like to mow the backyard is literally like 10 minutes.
No.
Yeah, it's like.
Wish I had that.
Well, it comes there. There's pluses and minuses to it. That also means when there's a fox 3 houses down, we try to go to sleep and all we hear is yep, like nonstop. Okay. What I'm going to bring
anyway. So if you're after an app that'll remind you to bring your laundry in.
That's good. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
I will say, we got new, in air quote, scratch and dent washer and dryer not that long ago. I don't like the dryer has a couple different settings. One of them, it tries to sense how wet stuff is, and it will automatically stop when stuff is dry. It almost always stops too soon. So it's like,
right.
Great idea.
Yeah, so does ours.
Huh?
Yep. Yeah, ours does as well. When we do use our dryer, it's never on for long enough. It always turns itself off when it's half dry. So.
Yeah, so it has one setting where it literally just says turn it on time mode, and I set it to max temperature for 1 hour, and I turn on like wrinkle prevent thing, and then basically after half an hour or so, I just manually check it. You know what I mean? And certain things, especially like bed comforters, take like 2+ hours to dry.
Yeah,
just because they're so big.
Well, in my country, I mean, using a dryer that long it becomes unaffordable. Electricity here is very expensive. So, anything you can do to save some money on your electricity is a good thing.
Right. Okay. This one app I'm going to bring, I'm going to bring because I found it interesting. I'm not sure how I completely feel about the app yet, is what I'm going to call it. And it is an app called Simple X Chat. And then what I'm going to post is the Reddit link where they're posting about it. And it seems like a pretty good app. It seems like it's pretty well vented. I'm afraid that they're basically, in air quote, trying to like reinvent the wheel when it comes to security. But this is another option when it comes to a chat that has what they say is privacy by design. You can get it for Google Play. You can get the direct APK. You can get it from F-Droid. You can get it from iOS Store. You can even get it as I believe, a Safari plugin kind of thing. I like cross-platform secure apps. The real reason is because then I can, on my phone, send something to, let's say, somebody, but then on my desktop, I can still access it. So it makes it much easier when I need to have information in multiple areas. This seems like a good solution. I need more people to look into it, more people to review it, more people to like look at the code, because all the code's open source. It's AGPL, which is rare. AGPL basically is like the newest GPL standard, which basically means anything that is available online by default has to be, in air quote, free and open for everyone to look at. And it says, why should I not use Signal? And it says, Signal is a centralized platform that uses phone numbers to identify users and their contacts. Okay, so this is a non-centralized thing. So hypothetically, their servers and they can go out of existence and this app will still work. I do like the idea of decentralized apps too. So if you're interested in secure private apps and you don't want to use something that everyone else has heard of, aka being a bigger target, you might want to check out Simple X, all one word, chat.
Yeah, so I like the idea you can use it on your laptop as well as your phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Signal and Voxer. There's always good old Voxer though.
It works.
Use that on anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you actually installed it? Have you tried using it yet?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to just run fine, and I don't have anybody else to test it with, so I literally put it on 2 phones, kind of thing. And it seems quick, it seems snappy, and it just, in air quote, it just works.
And it's encrypted?
It's end-to-end encrypted, and it can do even stuff like audio and video calls, or group type messaging. So yeah, it does seem to just, in air quote, work.
Great. Oh, well, I might try installing that and send you a message on it. See how that works.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, you mentioned how long it takes you to mow your lawn before door. And this app Well, this game will let you mow your lawn on your phone. This app is called It's Literally Just Mowing. And basically you're a little guy or a girl on a electric mower not electric mower, like a ride-on mower, and you get a piece of grass and you have to swipe up and down or left and right to mow a patch of grass. And then you go and mow your neighbor's patch of grass. And you carry on like that and ad infinitum until you're bored. But if you like the idea of just mowing a lawn, which can be quite meditative,
right,
quite zen, you can just sit there and mow some grass in your spare time when you've got nothing better to do.
Yeah, I'll say these kind of games and like the farming simulator or power wash simulator games seem to have a crowd. They seem to have a following that people just like. I know my nephew asked his mom for a Xbox steering wheel and pedals, and I'm thinking he's getting into a race game. No, he's getting into a lawnmower game. To which, of course, she's like, "Why don't you mow our lawn if you're going to play this game?" And exactly. He was like, "Well." He's like, well, in the game, I get points and prizes. Are you going to give me some money or something? And she's like, no. He's like, well, then I'm going to keep playing the
game. Kids today.
Yeah. I'll just say he's a really nice guy, but he's a kid of today's day, so he's a little bit nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how you feel. So it's literally just mowing by Protostar. It's have a look at the details of the game. So its rating is 4.6. No, I don't seem to have any of the app details. Oh, there you go, about the game. So version 1.2.28.1 requires Android 7.0 and up, has in-app purchases, of course, so you can customize your lawnmowers. Released on the 26th of February 2020. Last updated on the 18th of December 2022. Downloads 5 million plus downloads. Content rating rated for 3+. Yeah. Check it out. It's literally just mowing.
Okay, the only shortcoming I see in their mowing thing is I don't see a beer holder built into the lawn, to the riding lawnmower. Just
yeah, that's what the in-app purchases.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to link to a It's False article. Now, this comes with a caveat. This is an example of the kind of website. The ads are sometimes literally like insane. Okay, so it comes with that warning. But it actually has some decent content, and it is basically entitled 40 Best Open Source Android Applications. And they basically break them down by category, like keyboard app, file manager apps, web browser apps, multi-platform sync or file sharing apps, podcast or audiobook players, RSS readers, VPN apps, comics or manga reader apps, and they just have basically like 3 or 4 of each kind of category. Music player apps, note-taking apps, 2FA and password apps, mail apps, video player apps, and all that, and it just keeps going. So I like this list because to me this is a good intro to a couple choices if you want to prioritize open source on your Android device. I agree with most of their findings, is what I'm going to say. I think that when I look at like their keyboard apps and I look at the keyboards, I definitely think at least 1 or 2 of them are worth playing with if you want to try an open source keyboard. Same thing with the file manager apps. Out of like 3 or 4 apps, I definitely know of 2 of them and they seem to work just fine, kind of thing. So yeah, this is a good little list.
There's a few simple, the simple branded apps in there as well, which I think are actually very good. You can find them both on the Play Store and the F-Droid. But yeah, go open source, man.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of those simple apps for one big reason. Man, they run snappy as hell. I got them on Android because I purposely went to the thank you app where you basically just pay like $1, or I want to say it might have been $1.50, and all it is you download the app and it says thank you. You're just thanking the developer for making it.
As well. Yeah. Give them some money. That's a great idea. Great way to do it. Cool. Right. Well, check out that. So while you're mowing your lawn, another thing you might want to do, because if a lot of people have allergies to hay fever, so you can check out the quality of the air in your area. This app is called Breezometer. It's a Breezometer Air Quality and Pollen by Breezometer. It's got 500,000 plus downloads. What it does is tells you what the quality of the air is like. What the quality of the air is like in your area, and it will tell you, grasses, weeds, trees, all those sorts of things, and what the pollen count is. So what it does is it finds the. I'm just setting up all the permissions for this app because it's the first time I used it on my new phone. So it gives you a little guideline. At the moment, I'm looking at 10 to 33% of the guideline, so it's a pretty clear day here. But it's got options for showing you a map of where you are and what the conditions are like in that particular area. It shows you the air quality now and what it's expected to be in the future, and it shows you a pollen forecast as well. So if you are one of those unfortunate people who suffers from hay fever, pollen allergies, then you might want to have this app installed and check it just before you go out for the day, or to make sure that you might want to take an antihistamine or something like that before you go.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those apps. It's a great idea. I am so happy I do not suffer from allergies, because I know people. Like as soon as they walk out the door, and if there's bad pollen, they literally, their eyes are just starting to water and they start to sneeze.
Yep.
I'm like,
just start sneezing away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I find it quite useful sometimes to see what the air quality is like, because you do, even if you don't have an allergy, you can find yourself reacting sometimes to the pollen in the air when it's particularly bad. We have a lot of wattle trees around here, so they put out a lot of pollen in the summertime.
Gotcha. Yeah, what I always do, same thing every time. I look out my main story window, I look down at my cars. If my cars have a tint of color to them, I know, oh man, it's going to be a bad pollen day. Kind of thing. Yeah. Because it cakes on cars. And I do like the name, very simple, Breezometer, all one word.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. I'm going to bring one more app, and that is it. This is one of the apps from GitHub. It's basically just called InYour, INURE, InYour App Manager. It's basically an elegant Android app manager, and it's currently in development. Essentially, this is like replacing your home screen with extremely simplified interface. If you have like an incredibly old Android device and it just will not stop running, incredibly sluggishly slow, I definitely encourage you to check out this app. It is customizable to where you can change what the basic stuff looks like. But I will tell you, if you really do insist on having just a very, very, very simple interface to be able to look at your apps and organize your apps and see like information about apps and install and uninstall apps kind of thing. And you can customize some of the colors and stuff. This to me was really like incredibly simple, and it just seemed to work.
So this is a launcher?
They call it an app manager. I just said it basically that's my main app. Wherever on my old device, I just load up, and that's how I scroll through, pick apps, look at apps, and run everything.
Oh, wow. That's quite a new concept. I've not come across something like this before. That's good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, especially me, have got old phones sitting around doing nothing. So, it's good to have something like this that gives them a second life.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can get it on Google Play in your app manager trial from Hamza Rizwan. I'm sticking with that. 5,000 plus downloads, E for everyone. Data safety, no data is collected and no data is downloaded with third parties. Updated on February 7th, 2023. Version build beta. Requires 6.0 Android and up, 5,000 plus downloads. Content rating, again, E for everyone. Permissions, because it's like a home screen kind of thing, it needs a lot of permissions, is what I'll say.
Yeah, it would do, I suppose. Cool. Right. Well, I've got one more app as well. So if anyone has ever watched a fellow on YouTube called Sam Beckman, he's an Australian chap. He's doing a pretty good job of building a channel that is all about Android and Android apps in particular. And he's gone and put his money where his mouth is and developed his own app called Shelf. So it costs $2.89. I'm not talking about Shelf in this particular instance. I installed Shelf a little while ago, and he showcases all the apps on his show in that particular app. So I thought that was pretty good. One of the apps he bought, I think a couple of weeks ago, was one called Pop-Up Creator Pro, or Pop-Up Creator. There is a free version as well as a pro version. The pro version costs $4.89. So the Pop-Up Creator basically is a Bluetooth customization device that will pop up with an image on your phone screen when you connect with the device. It's a bit of a gimmick. It's not really very useful, I suppose, in some cases, but if you can have GIFs, you can have video files, you can have images that will pop up when you connect to a Bluetooth device. Now, if you get the pro version, you can get it to do, it would come with buttons which are programmable. So say you connect a set of headphones or buds, you can then get it to automatically launch your music player, or if you're getting in a car and your phone's connected to the car via Bluetooth, you can then get it to launch your Maps app or something like that. So there's all sorts of options, as long as you're prepared to pay some money. In New Zealand, it's $4.89, so I'm thinking in the US it's about $2.50 or $2. $2.99. And I particularly like the fact that you can have a picture of a Lamborghini speeding past or something like that. Just a cool gimmick. I've always liked stuff like this, and a bit of a guilty pleasure. But yeah, check out Sam Beckman and Shelf, as well as because that has lots of great apps suggestions on there, and you can leave reviews on those apps as well. But yeah, Pop-Up Creator Pro by OINS, that's OINS, I think it is. Only problem with Sam Beckman is he's Australian, and his accent drives me nuts. It's a bit like the Canadians and the Americans. Australians annoy us as much as the Canadians annoy you, and I suppose it's vice versa.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with paying for an app that doesn't do a lot of things as long as I know who I'm supporting, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see when I get into my car and it connects to my car's Bluetooth, why not automatically load maps? Some of the stuff I think really does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, obviously there are people with use cases in this, and rather than trying to go to a macro droid app, which would automatically, or IFTTT, which will do it for you, you could try this.
Yep, very cool. Okay, I really don't have a lot more apps there, Ivor. We have been going for an hour. Yeah. Okay, do you want to do an app roundup?
You normally take a list. I normally make a list of everything we've done, but I haven't in this case. I forgot.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Okay, we have Magic Eraser from Google, Motorola's rollable phone. We have OnePlus folding phone. We have Huawei Watch Buds. Then we get into apps. We have Vampire Survivors, Podnutz, then Gloomgrave, Laundry Timer, Simple X Chat, It's literally just mowing. Then we have 40 best open source Android apps, Breeze-O-Meter, and in your app manager. Last but not least, Pop-Up Creator Pro Powerful.
Pro. Yeah. Excellent.
Very cool.
That's quite a lot of apps.
It is quite a lot indeed. If you guys would like to contact us, it's very super easy. You can easily just either send us an email at aaa@podnutz.com, or you can send us a voicemail at 707-6-PODNUT. You can join us on stuff like Discord or on Voxer. If you need a Voxer invitation, all you do is let us know. Super fast and easy. If you want to support us directly monetarily, it's super easy. Patreon.com/Android App Addicts. Do you have any parting words there, Ivor?
Great to be back after a month and have my audio work as well.
It keeps going.
With a new phone.
Yeah, and time just keeps going faster and faster and faster. And I know that's what getting old is. But man, sometimes it needs to just slow down.
It certainly does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's getting faster and faster.
Yeah. And when Josh isn't here, I guess it goes even faster. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes pretty slowly when he is.
Yeah. All right. I want to thank Swift, Eric, and Red for coming out to the live chat.
William Wilson is in there.
William Wilson too. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. So I want to thank everyone for downloading. Thank everyone for supporting. Thank everyone for continuing to support. And you know what the easiest way to support any podcast is? It's really easy. You either just say to somebody, "Hey, why don't you check out this podcast?" Or B, just send the email to the people saying, "Hey, thanks for the podcast." It's that easy. With that stated, we will hopefully talk to you again in under a month. Take it easy, everybody.
Cheerio.
Okay, now file, save project as
591.
5091. AUP, right? Yeah. Yeah. File export. Got it. Over here is a 591.
Music.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh man. I gotta go into the office tomorrow and I really don't want to. Yeah, and I'm almost a little bit mad at myself. 2 weeks ago. I want to say 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Not this. Tomorrow's Friday. Last Friday. I went into work, and a very nice lady right across from me. She was there working that day too. And then I got off of work at 3:30, and by like 9 o'clock that night, I was puking and everything was just killing me. And I wanted to tell her on Monday, look, I'm really sorry, but you might be sick here in a day or two, kind of thing. And then I looked, she has off the entire week with sick leave. So she comes back to work, hopefully on Monday, I'm gonna be like, look, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm sorry. You're sick because of me.
It's all your fault.
It's all my fault. It was like, whoa, man, the headache, man, was so bad. The headache and body aches were like nuts. 3 days earlier, or 4 days earlier, 4 days earlier, the wife went to Express Care. They gave her every possible test there is, kind of thing. And they said, well, it looks like food poisoning. And then she got home. So then we were like, hey, it's food poisoning. Who cares? Okay, fine. Yeah, whatever. And then 2 days later, me, my oldest, and my youngest all sick. Now, here's the thing. I don't know of any illness, period, hard stop, any illness where older people constantly suffer with more symptoms and longer symptoms than young people. Typically, it's the really young and the really old that suffer the worst. COVID is the only one I know where young kids, if they do get sick, they either have no symptoms or they're better in like no time at all. I was knocked out for literally 3 days, Friday night till Monday morning at like 8:30 in the morning. I was like, the body aches, headaches just wouldn't stop kind of thing. I kept drinking lots of water, but didn't help. My youngest son, who's 15, was sick for like 6 hours. And then my oldest son, who's 17, was sick for maybe 12 hours, and that was it. So it's like, I don't know what it was. I just know it sucked.
Yeah, it would do. Jeez. Yeah, food poisoning is the worst thing to get, because no one believes you when you call up work and say, "Oh, I've got food poisoning." Yep. That's just shorthand for I've got a hangover.
Right. Well, and with food poisoning, there's literally nothing they can do except just work it out of your system.
Yep.
It's like
exactly. They can't just keep hydrated and.
And I tell you, I was drinking like 5 or 6 of these a day because I knew I got it. I mean, and yet every time I laid down, I was in bed basically all day Saturday. I would fall asleep, wake up less than 2 hours later, covered in sweat. Didn't matter if I had no covers or covers, fan on, fan off. Didn't matter. And then when I went to the bathroom, it still wasn't clear, and I was still drinking all of it. And that's how much I was sweating.
Wow.
But on the good news, I lost 5 pounds.
There's a silver lining. It's always a silver lining, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Monty Python told me. Always look at the bright side of life.
Exactly.
And
so
everybody I know in the last 2 weeks has been out of it for at least 2 or 3 days. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, my son went ahead. They had a school athletics day, a sports day, and they have a uniform, and the PE uniform they have is a singlet, a short sleeve singlet. I think you call it a tank top.
Mm-hmm.
But he'd forgotten about the sports day, and he didn't put any sunscreen on, and we have no ozone layer here anymore, so you burn in 10 minutes. He was outside all day. He was absolutely red as a beet.
Yeah.
All his shoulders and arms are totally red. He couldn't move the next day. He was in a lot of pain. And he's just getting over a cold as well. So I said, well, it's what happens when you don't put any sunscreen on and you're going to be standing outside all day.
Yeah. I hate getting burns, because when I get burns, what happens is it bubbles up and it basically fills with plasma, clear liquid. And then when it pops, the clear liquid just goes everywhere. And it's like, there's nothing I can do except just muscle through it. That's why when, anybody says, don't you want to go to the beach? No. My genes were tempered for millennia.
Yeah, you're Irish.
Inside of bars. Right, not at beaches. So no, I do not want to go to the beach. I can go to a beach.
I'll go to the pub at the beach.
But I'm going to be on the boardwalk in the bar, looking out the windows. Hey, great, yeah. But that's about it.
The Guinness here is terrible.
Yeah,
my third already.
And I did have somebody talk to me, now it turns out my mother-in-law does want to go to Ireland sooner or later. So it's like, well, I do want to go at least once. Just so I can say I went.
Yeah. I can't say I'm that keen on going there, but I'm sure it's a lovely place.
Well, for me, one of the pluses is it really isn't that far. Yeah, I mean, comparatively.
Yeah. Anywhere is too far for me at the moment.
Well, and I know the one thing not to look forward to if I'm over there, don't look forward to good food. Those people can't cook to save their lives. Are you kidding? Their idea of potato is they take a potato and they quarter it and throw it in a pot for 3 minutes. So the outside is mushy like a mashed potato, but the inside is still oh God, it's bad. It's bad. I know my mom went and she says that was the one thing that she knew was going to be bad. And she says everywhere we went, it was equally, they all tried to do American food. No, this ain't American. This sucks.
Well, Irish food is worse. So.
Oh yeah. She said the only meal they got right, breakfast. Why did they get breakfast right?
Just full English.
Nope, because they don't serve no food at breakfast. They just serve coffee
and sausages, black pudding.
Coffee and Jameson, and Irish coffee.
Coffee and whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. First thing in the morning. She was like, and because she always
sets you up for the morning, doesn't it?
Right. She always thought, it's a trope. It ain't real. It ain't real. She went over and she was staying with family. Remember, like, because both her parents came from Ireland. She was staying with family, and she was like, yeah, every morning they were not messing around. Equal parts whiskey, equal parts coffee. He's fine. So how was the dog doing?
Well, the family just got home.
So is the
the joys of having a dog.
Well,
she's really energetic, which is good for me because I need to take her for a walk 3 times a day.
And Voxer, Josh said yesterday his son was sick. Now he said something hit me today like a ton of bricks.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, man.
So now he's got it too.
Wow. I hope it doesn't come here. You keep it on your hemisphere.
And William Wilson, Scots and Irish would like to go someday. I would like to go to both Scotland and Ireland. Now, Scotland, you got to be careful what you eat. That was the one thing I was told. Got to be, if you can just order food, have them and eat it, but then you might not want to ask what it was you ate because you never know what you're going to get, kind of thing. And then if you go to the wrong part of Scotland, you literally have no idea what they're saying because their accent is so thick.
Yeah. Glasgow, it's pretty bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have been to Scotland. I spent 4 or 5 days there. Yeah.
Wow.
Back in 2001, I think it was, or 2001. And we've got my wife has relatives in the Hebrides, so we went on a quick road tour to the Hebrides, and my God.
It's a different world.
Yeah, it's a different world. Yeah. So there's Scotland, and then there's the Hebrides. Mm-hmm. And the Hebrides, these people, the sheep. The thing about the Hebrides is it's covered in these little mosquitoes. They call them midges, and because they live in the heather and the sheep are miserable. The sheep just get eaten alive by these bloody things, and so they all go and stand in the middle of the road so that they don't get eaten by the midges.
Damn.
So of course, you have to drive at about 20 kilometers an hour to get over a sheep.
Damn.
It's just a miserable place. But it is beautiful. It is a beautiful place, apart from the midges.
Right. Well, yeah, there has to be a good side.
Yeah, I wish we'd spent some more time there, actually. Be good. Yeah, apparently, so my wife has relatives up there, and I have as well, apparently.
Gotcha. Yeah, listening to like all of the business kind of things that I listen to, they mentioned how tourism is now like ridiculous, like off the charts, so busy, so popular. And the one guy said people are literally starting to realize you can buy things for your house. You can buy all these things, but then you're always going to need to replace it, and whatever, it's a thing. But if you go to places, you're going to see something possibly that you've never seen before. And people are starting to realize, I want to travel more. Especially because, COVID didn't, hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So now the wife is talking about Paris, possibly Scotland, Ireland. Because like the youngest one is 15. She's like, as soon as that kid is 18, we are not taking him anywhere again on vacation. We're going to do our own stuff.
Yeah, well, he probably wouldn't want to. Probably wouldn't want to be hanging around with his parents.
I don't know. He's a weird kid, man. Yeah, he's like me as a kid, and what I mean is, he does not get along with other kids. In fact, he hates other kids because he says how they're so immature. He will go over like with us to my sister-in-law's house, and he will sit with her, who is a college-educated person in science. She's a science teacher, and he will sit down and he will talk to her about why he finds how the chromosomes separate during cell division so fascinating. the hell is this kid talking about? And then he'll talk to her about why he thinks osmosis, like literally how osmosis works. And it's because it releases the salt, releases a protein that interacts with, I can't remember what he called it, but it's like a gateway cell. And then when that gateway cell gets interacted, the protein causes the cell to literally open up, which causes, oh man, I can't remember what it was, to be able to travel. Why are you not getting straight A's in school? What's wrong with you?
Jesus, yeah, exactly.
He should be. Oh my God, is he bored? Okay, so do we have any show idea names?
My youngest.
Sorry.
Sorry. OnePlus is the fat Elvis of the mobile world.
Right there. I think I nailed it. Yep.
Sometimes life gives you wood. That's about the only ones I could think of at the moment.
And I do agree in the chat. I'm sure the food in Spain is much better than the food in Ireland.
Oh yeah, guarantee it. Yeah. Although when I lived in London for a year, and some of the food you get there isn't too bad, but they have what they call greasy spoons everywhere, which are basically just breakfast shops, and they just sell you the full English breakfast. So everything has baked beans,
right?
And then you have bacon, eggs, muffins, or crumpets, and you have mushrooms. You can get all sorts of options, and it's just a breakfast restaurant. That's it.
I'm fine with that.
And then I went to America and I tried IHOP.
The best thing about IHOP?
What?
I'm going to quote Lewis Black. The best thing about IHOP is you go in and it's like his therapy session, because when he goes in, he always can find somebody who looks 10 times worse than he does.
Exactly.
And he said, and it's the only place that he knows of that if you order a coffee, they don't bring you a coffee. They bring you a carafe of coffee.
Yep. I was amazed with like 100 different types of pancakes. We have nothing like it in my country. So
yeah, I mean, you gotta really want pancakes, or you gotta want like one of their omelets kind of thing. I always, whenever we're cheap, we're like, let's just go to IHOP, and I get the Denver omelet, and I say, and I always say no batter in my omelet. Half the time I go, they're like, what? No batter in my omelet. What do you mean batter in your omelet?
Oh, no batter in your omelet. Yeah, right.
When you guys make omelets, your cook puts batter in the omelet to make the egg fluffier. I don't want any batter in my omelet. And half the time they're like, and then they come back, of course, 20 minutes later when I've needed a water for 20 minutes. They come back and say, I didn't know they put eggs in batter in the omelets. I'm thinking to myself, you think that'd be one of the things that, they would know because they work there.
Yeah, you think so. Yeah, but they're getting minimum wage, so you can't really expect too much.
Yeah, but if you really want to hit the bottom of the barrel, you come to America, you go to a Waffle House.
Oh, yeah.
One thing's
on TV.
One thing's for sure about a Waffle House. Your waiter, whatever, are going to have less teeth than you thought. No matter how many teeth you think they had. No, it's less than that. Always.
Yeah, William in the chat just mentioned Bubble and Squeak.
Which
is another. Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
Don't think so.
It's basically anything that's left over from the previous night, and you mash it up with spuds and you fry it.
How do you do? Yeah. Well, it's hard to go wrong with potatoes and butter.
Potatoes and butter, yeah. Plus whatever's left over from last night. It's really nice.
So it was OnePlus is the fat Elvis. Control-C. Control-V.
Oh, we got the Mac Geek in the chat. Just joined us.
Oh, hey, man. bathroom, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I just sent you the link to my file.
Yeah. I had to nuke and pave my Nextcloud again. It's ridiculous. I should not have to do that so many times. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And when I tried to contact them and ask, is there a certain order of operation that I should be doing this stuff in? And I got nothing back. Busy, slammed, or because I did not pay for a subscription, I don't know.
Yeah, you think you'll probably find it improves if you pay a subscription.
Yeah, I know.
I've been thinking about getting a Nextcloud subscription. Well, Nextcloud service, because I'm not really comfortable with Google or Microsoft having my cloud information on their cloud and how secure it is. But yeah, I think I'd rather much self-manage it. So
right.
Would you still recommend it despite all the problems you're having, or is it not worth it?
If it's self-managed, you won't have any of these problems. If you go through them,
Right.
You should not have any of these problems at all. I will say Josh swears by pCloud. That's his
Yes,
solution.
it was expensive, that.
I thought it was.
That was expensive.
He swears it isn't. I know.
Maybe I should stop buying new phones.
Well, that's asking a bit much now. Let's slow the roll down a little bit. Okay, give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, and I will say one of the things about the phone I liked was it does have basically built-in like full screen screenshots, where if you take a screenshot, you can then click a button and say more, and it will basically ask you, like, let you manually scroll down as far as you want to scroll down to, if you want to do more screen real estate's in your screenshot. That's a kind of feature not that long ago, wasn't really popular, is what I'm going to say. Okay, so I'm going to share one screenshot if I can find it. Here it is.
Let me share this with the Google Photos. Upload. Bada bing. Let's see if this pauses. See if this pauses this to crash again. Okay, so big money.
We're having an egg conversation in the chat at the moment. Our government, in its infinite wisdom, decided to ban battery farming for eggs, and the price of eggs doubled overnight. Yeah, you can't cage your hens. Basically, they all have to be free range, so they all have to have a certain amount of space to wander around in. Yeah, and to be fair, they did ban it 10 years ago.
Right.
They said, in 10 years' time, there's going to be a complete ban on free range eggs. Of course, they didn't realize that there would be a huge storm and a COVID crisis and all that sort of crap.
Yeah, and the avian flu, I know here in America, they said quite literally they've had to kill nearly half of the chickens in chicken farms because of the flu. That's why they claim our price went up. When I was mentioning about the Pixel and the the onboarding process, this is this screen I got after I loaded everything up, and then I got a security update or an update like 2 days later kind of thing. Basically, it says your Pixel got more helpful. You can enable, disable themed icons, pick per app language settings, which I didn't even know was possible, but you could say, when I'm in this app, give it to me in Spanish.
Okay.
When I'm in this app, give it to me in English. Record speaker label. There is a Google Pixel voice recorder type app. You can basically set in like a lecture hall kind of thing, hypothetically, and hit record. And if multiple people talk, it will isolate each one and let you visually see when this person's talking versus that person's talking. Thought that was I thought that was kind of interesting. The camera, take amazing photos. Here's 7 tips on how to get better photos. Pro tips for organizing your apps. There was 9 tips. Smart features, let Pixel suggest apps. Basically automatically prioritize your apps. And basically if you go to use an app, it'll say, here's another one that does similar things. Built-in tools to record audio, take notes, screenshots. And then it keeps going down more and more. And we have chat and share, digital well-being, privacy and security, personal safety, the essentials, and navigation and accessibility. And hypothetically, you click on digital well-being and it will tell you about bedtime, allow you to download pedometer, step counters kind of thing, suggest Google Fit and other apps to you kind of thing. So it literally like soft onboarded you and tried to recommend what it thought would be useful stuff for you to know. I've never had a phone present it without it either being way too much or in language that I know normal people can't understand, where this seemed pretty descriptive.
Yeah, looks pretty good. That's the thing with Pixel. Well, they're learning the iPhone lesson. They're trying to make it indispensable to the users and easy to use and really easy onboarding process and nicely graphical, well set out, and so anyone can understand how to use it. And that's really what they need to do.
Yeah, and supposedly they were so happy with Pixel sales in the year 2022. They said this year they're looking for a 50% increase in sales, and they think they know the way to do it moving forward. And I do think this is the year, at the end of the year, they're going to release their foldable, Pixel foldable. That's when I think the idea of having a foldable thing will actually be mainstream. And then as soon as they release it, the clock is then starting to tick. How long till Apple comes out with one?
Yeah, there was talk of a tablet.
Yeah,
a Pixel tablet.
Yep. Yeah, where Google right now is putting like all of their money in AR glasses that are supposedly coming out in a couple of different versions by the end of this year, which, like $3,000 for AR glasses. Thinking that's something I could see celebrities I hate wearing them and talking about how they're so cool.
People were just going to knock them off you in the street, smash them on the ground.
Yeah, the Mac.
So
just got the 6-day. Yeah.
And Chatty's saying the Pixel 7 has issues with glass over the camera cracking by itself if it gets too cold.
Yes, I did hear that too. And Google's response was something like, "Don't let it get too cold." It was like, what?
Well, what are they going to do? Build in a heater? Or?
I don't know, but that seems like really bad PR to say something like that.
Just keep it in your pocket. Wonder what temperature that would happen at. Like negative 30 degrees or something? Or what?
I don't know, but I will say a couple times I can feel the back of the phone. And it definitely feels a touch warm. But performance-wise, it hasn't slowed down yet. The real test is going to be when I put it in the car dash and it's the middle of summer. Am I going to get that message? Because almost every phone for the last 3 or 4 phones, if it's the wrong time of summer and I put it in because the mount has been sitting in the heat all the time. So as soon as I put the phone in, all the heat instantly starts to transfer to the device. And then inadvertently, I would either get the thing, you're seeing a reduced performance because of overheating issue, or your phone's being throttled. Only one phone didn't give me that message, and it was because they tried to hide the fact that it was happening. But you would click anything, and it would be like, oh, it would be like you were watching a $6 million man, going in slow mo kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the phenomenon. My daughter, she had an Oppo A54s, one of the cheap Oppo phones, cost about $200, $300. And she was having all sorts of problems with it, using it in her bedroom or anywhere in the house, basically. And, she kept complaining about it. And I thought, I better take this seriously. I just kept telling her to turn it off and turn it back on again. Eventually that wore a bit thin. So I swapped with her my Vivo phone, which is a really good phone. Actually, it had no problems with that whatsoever. And we just, I nuked and paved it, and nuked and paved hers. I took her phone, gave her mine. And the other thing I did was I turned off my Firewall on those devices. And bingo, straight away. The Firewall was slowing it down horrendously. Because I noticed, because when I was trying to use it as well, it was really, really slow. I thought, wow, this process is really bad. And then I said, let me just try and turn off the Firewall, see if that makes a difference. Turn the Firewall off, and bing, straight back up again. So there's something in that phone, or a couple of phones, that does not like using a monitored network. Which is really strange.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing
Mesh network didn't like it either.
Right. The only kind of troubleshooting I can think of is literally to look at, and this would be a good application for a difference tool, because it's going to be a long list. That's why I'm saying to take a look at the key store. What SSL certified key stores does that phone trust versus what your other phones that work fine trust? And it wouldn't shock me if there's a difference, something to do with SSL, to where it has to constantly keep renegotiating stuff. That's the only thing I think of, because the phone itself, there should be no problem using the normal Wi-Fi standard protocol stuff. So I have to believe it has to do something with SSL.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem if she was using a school Wi-Fi. It wasn't a problem if she was using Wi-Fi somewhere else. As soon as she got home, whole thing died.
Yeah, and, it would have to do something with its like filtering.
Well, I think it was also something to do with the speed the Firewall is running at as well, because it's a single board computer sitting there. It just wasn't processing it fast enough. Yeah. And I also had tried turning it off on my Android TV, because it was monitoring my Android TV dongle. And because before that, I could not watch any video on Spotify. It would automatically run for a couple of seconds, and then
we completely forgot to complain about Spotify.
Oh, we did. Yeah. Well, it's for next week's show.
Okay.
But yeah, as soon as I turn the firewall and monitoring off the Android TV dongle, wow, I can suddenly watch videos in 1080p on the firewall.
Well, I'll say this: on the Android TV, I wouldn't worry about putting that through that device, because what bad's going to come through it? You know what I mean? Wow. Okay, but the kid, yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, it was just that particular phone did not like working on a monitored network.
Yeah, I will say I do see some issues on the devices where I have my Pi hole on my network, to where I have to purposely say to this one, no, use a different DNS service.
Yeah,
because it's just like too much. And I do have mine running on a Raspberry Pi 3 Wi-Fi, no Ethernet connected to it all, and all it does is DNS querying kind of thing.
Okay.
And for most computers, it runs just fine. I don't notice any difference. I do notice less ads, but I don't notice any slowdown.
Well, one thing my firewall does do is completely block Facebook, so it will not allow Facebook into the network. Any device. People always complain when they come to my house. I can't use Facebook. No, you won't. You can't, and you won't in my house.
See, that's like King of the Hill. That's like King of the Hill. When Bobby says, "What do we do when they ask for their steaks well done, Dad?" We politely ask them to go home. You come over to Ivor's house and say, "I want to use Facebook." I politely ask you to go home.
Well, yeah, sure you can. You can just go home and use it in your own house, because it's not showing up on my network. Get it. Yeah.
Yeah, one good thing that happened was Google Stadia, dead, completely dead. They did release basically a Chrome browser extension, in your Chrome browser. If you go to a website on Google, plug up the device, it will literally enable it to be a Bluetooth controller, because people were worried about, this controller connects.
What do you do with this hardware? Yeah. What do you do with the old hardware?
Right. It connects via Wi-Fi to your network to go to the Stadia servers. There's no configuration. So how are we going to use this thing moving forward? And you don't want these people to put it on the trash. And I will say, Google Stadia did do the shutdown incredibly properly. They literally refunded everybody on every purchase they ever made. Also, two games,
really, didn't they?
Yeah, 2 games I got for free. Guess what? They gave me money.
Even though you didn't pay for them.
I didn't pay for the game in the first place. They literally gave me like $55 back. And I was like, why? I didn't buy anything. And then I figured out, oh wait, I went to these 2 things and I said, free game. What's a word? You know what I mean? Words hard.
Refund.
Not refund. I went in and I clicked the button. I claimed the game for free, kind of thing. Yeah, that. And then they just gave me money back. I'm like, hey, I've never seen a company do such a thing where they literally just blanketly refund everybody 100% of all the money they've ever spent.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
Well, they are Google. They've got a lot of money to throw around.
For now, they have plenty of money. It was painfully obvious that when Chat GPT stuff came out, they literally panicked and threw together something, and it really failed bad, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? God, some heads might be rolling.
Well, I get. Oh yeah, no. There's no doubt. Somebody's butt walked out the door. You ain't coming back, kind of thing. You made me look bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just show the extent of the overreaction to the crisis.
Yep.
I don't know, this Chat GPT, the AI stuff, we should probably talk about this as well. It's I think it's overhyped.
Look, here's the truth. You ready? Time travel. 15 years ago, you would go to Google and you would type in something and you could click, "I'm feeling lucky."
Yeah.
Next evolution of that, you take that text and you turn it into voice, and then you do the "I'm getting lucky" thing, and you basically have all of your home assistants.
okay, Schmoogle, what time is it? It basically does a Google search with I'm feeling lucky, which gives you back instantaneous results. Next step, in the Google results window, let's give some custom results that are just purposely designed for this search result thing. It's not really something you can Google, but if you Google the right thing, they'll give you back a little blurb, like who's the president of France, and it will give you a little blurb about that person. Now, then you turn that into an automated response. Chat GPT is just the same kind of thing. The only difference is instead of giving you a link, it goes to the link, it pulls back the text, and it regurgitates it in its own like language model, LLM, large language model. The problem is when you do a Google search, you're always expected to get a result back. Always. When you're doing a Chat GPT thing, it never knows when it's wrong because it just has to give you back something. So when it's wrong about something, it is confident. It is overly confident that it knows what it's talking about and it's right, even though it's completely effing wrong. Two people at work were like, oh man, this is going to take jobs. This is going to kill everybody. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. Think of anything that you know you're modestly expert in, okay? And then go to Chat GPT and ask it about that thing, and you'll see it's wrong. 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 It's wrong more than it's right. It's like a politician, you know?
Well, the other thing is to get to this point in where Chat GPT is, they've had to spend a hell of a lot of money because what they've done is they employed an army of, I suppose, third world people or people with English language skills, curating all the answers and ranking them, and paying them 5 cents an hour or something to come up with this decision tree analysis. You can't do that. You need, if you're going to have a machine language system, you can't employ an army of people to curate it.
Right, and they literally pay people money to just sit there and go through pictures and say cat, dog, snake, deer, and literally they pay them people just to do that. And this all harkens back to,
for years they do this as well. It takes years to get this done. Yeah.
I know, but this harkens back to 1960s computing back in Xerox PARC, where the guy coined the phrase garbage in, garbage out. If you pay minimum wage for people to curate what's going in, you're getting garbage, man. You're getting garbage. And look, even if tomorrow it takes a step forward and then it takes another step forward, the one thing I tried to, and one thing I got my wife to completely understand is, look, this is going to take nobody's job unless your job is literally, hi, welcome to Walmart. I love you. That's the only job it's taking. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to just take the more complex jobs and make it so the person doesn't have to do as much work. Instead, they can worry about communicating with you as a person. It's going to be able to say, okay, here's an X-ray. Go ahead, take a look at this X-ray, compare it versus 30 billion other X-rays while I talk to this person about, so how are you feeling? Oh, wait, I got the results back. Okay. Oh, okay. And, it's going to do that kind of heavy lifting, but that's about it. I got her to understand when it does become mature, in air quote, it's literally going to be nothing more than a calculator. It's a tool. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not this. It's not that. It's just a stupid tool that we're gonna have to figure out how to learn. And the one guy was like, the thing I learned about Chat GPT was it has to condition you on how to use it. That's how you know the damn thing ain't smart. You have to ask the question 35 different ways until you finally ask it in the one way that it wants to give you back what
you tried using it, have you?
No.
You tried using it? Or
don't need to.
No,
there's nothing about it that even remotely interests me. I watched now, I think it was like 5 college professors give it their final exam, and it's never once passed. Never once came close to passing.
Didn't it pass a bar exam for the legal?
If it does, it wouldn't shock me because it's the bar exam. Just saying, lawyers are not the smartest people in the world. I'm just saying. I know the astrophysics guy, the highest he could get it to go was 72%. He said, which is technically a passing grade, but that's not even beating the average in my class. My average in my class was 76.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it will get better, I suppose.
I know. For now, it's just a novelty. It's like a Furby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's a Furby.
Yeah, it's just a novelty. It's not taking anybody's jobs. It's not at the beginning of AI. It's not the beginning of Skynet. Yeah, the one person at work, I literally had to say to them, look, you do understand that no two scientists, college professors, college graduates, whatever, can even agree on the definition of consciousness. So I don't think we have to worry about this thing becoming conscious, considering we can't even explain what it is yet. So no, we don't have to worry about it. Yeah. No, it's not taking over the world. No.
It's really just a overgrown decision tree, really, isn't it?
Ding, exactly. And it doesn't always make good decisions, kind of like politicians.
Yeah. But, in the longer term, next 50 years, hopefully when I'm dead, things might change. They'll gradually improve.
At most, I see it. The one place I see where it could be useful, okay? At my job, we have now it's like over a decade old website that's only internal use only. And all it does is it documents every possible transaction. What is good, what is bad, what is allowed, what is legal, and then legally what is required. Because because where I work, every year or two, the Maryland General Assembly changes laws pertaining to what we do. So we got to constantly go back and keep updating this kind of thing. I could see taking a language model, pointing it at that, and then offering a public facing thing saying, go to my website, hi, how can I help you? And you just naturally type in, I need to do this. And then to say, well, to look at saying, oh, okay, well, is it this kind or that kind? And you say, well, it's this kind. Okay, well, for this kind, you need these 3 forms of this. And then we need this. And then you can come into the MBA to make it to where when customers get to our place, they're more competent. They know more kind of thing. That's about the only place I could see it being useful, to be honest. Kind of like how...
Well, you know what it reminds me of?
Sorry. Ask Jeeves.
Kind of, yeah. When I used to work for a mobile phone company, the telephone company, they had a project which implemented the phone answering system, which instead of pressing buttons, you would speak what you wanted to do. And we spent thousands of dollars on this thing, and it didn't work. It eventually worked, but initially it was just horrible, and there were all sorts of bugs and stuff. So this is basically the talking answer phone. We're at the talking answer phone stage.
Yeah, and it's and one YouTube guy I watched said, "This is now look. What you got to understand is every technology follows an S curve where it doesn't really change much, doesn't really change much, and all of a sudden it changes a lot, and then everybody else catches up, and then it flattens off. The only question is what part of that curve are we on?" And he said, "I believe we're literally like this. We haven't even went up yet because this is so immature. This is so Bush League. This is so beginning. We haven't seen any of it actually happen yet." And he said, the sad truth is it might take 25 years for us to go that incremental thing to make it really truly usable. And I think of myself as an optimist, like a sickening, gag yourself with a spoon optimist. And I don't think this thing is going to be useful anytime soon. Unless you ask very specific, low kind of questions, like what's the weather today?
Yep. No, I totally agree. It's it was like you mentioned before as well. It's like things tend to happen once different technologies get combined. So there'll be something totally out of left field, like the rollable screen. It'll be something you combine with that makes it incredibly useful and something that everybody wants. Like the smartphone, which is a combination of all sorts of different ideas.
Yep. So, yeah. So that makes me think of
AI is just going to be one of those things.
Right. That makes me think of James Burke and how he made it a career of explaining how these far-reaching things somebody just decided to put together, and voila, you have a new invention. It's a matter of time. Somebody would think of it, but here's what happens. Yeah, that's the same kind of thing. And really, and here's the thing. One of my podcasts, they went back 100 years and they said, here are the predictions made from people 100 years ago. And man, all over the place. One of the ones that almost got scarily accurate is they predicted the future of transportation in cities would be, and it basically looked like an enclosed scooter that was gas powered. And right now, in like all the main cities over here, everywhere you go, there are scooters everywhere. And I don't mean, they're like literally laying on,
scooters,
laying on the sidewalk, laying in the grass in the middle of the street. They're frigging everywhere. So it's like, wow, they were almost,
we have them too.
Yeah, they were almost accurate with that one.
Those are expensive, those things. It's like $8 an hour or something.
Well,
better in a taxi.
Yeah. But I will say the one thing I did think was really funny, it was somebody figured out, you get this scooter, you bring it home, you take a 1/8-inch drill, you drill right here, it will not be able to call home anymore, and you can still charge it and use it. I was like,
oh wow,
yeah,
it's a $700 scooter.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, because they will always find a way. That's just how life works.
Yeah, AI powered scooters. That's the next big thing.
As long as it's not a Segway.
Oh, have you ever tried a Segway? Have you ever
Nope.
been on a Segway?
I don't think I would.
They are awesome. They are so awesome.
I don't trust myself on it. Yeah, I don't trust myself on it. I think I would. Oh man, it feel a little bit too easy, a little bit too confident. Then bam, smack right into a curb with my face. You know what I mean? I'm a little afraid of it. With the scooter, I at least have some semblance of, control. Is what I'll say.
Yeah, no, we had an hour session on it before we went to the pub for a work thing.
I hope before, yeah.
we had a great, because in Wellington, where it's got a big harbour complex, so it's got lots of flat ground. You can zoom around on scooters. It's fantastic. And we had a great time. Then off the pub, but I really wanted to buy one after that until I found out they were like $40,000 each.
They're not cheap. They are not cheap at all. Same thing with the scooters, electric bikes and scooters. I think, I could maybe buy one of these. And I look at the price. I'm like, are they crazy? No. And the ones are called pedal assist bikes, to where you can basically never pedal, or you can pedal to assist it, kind of thing. And I'm like, I think that would be no, man, no. That's like that's like 3 computers. No, I'm not doing that. Can't do it.
A friend of mine's wife got a battery assisted bike, and he's a bit older than me. He's about 10 years older than me. Jumped on this thing, and within 10 minutes he'd broken his leg.
Oh, geez. Wow.
It's like 6 weeks later, he's still hobbling around with the bloody cast on.
Yeah, not good.
He's never going to ride one again. Poor bastard.
Well, there's all kinds.
Well. All right. Well, I better go and say hello to the family.
All right, man. Very good to talk to you
again. Yep. And thanks to everybody in the chat. And well, hopefully we can see you next week with Josh.
That's the plan, man.
All right, mate.
Take it easy.
See you.
Okay, so I'm going to have to do some disconnecting so I can do some editing and posting. Really good to see you, the Mac Geek. Hope everything's going good with you. It's been a while. Okay, yeah. OnePlus is turning into Fat Elvis. I think that's a pretty good show name. A new Bluetooth keyboard already. The space bar is like popping out of this thing. And the worst thing is I don't know when it happened. I don't think I can fix it. I think if I glue it, I'm just going to ruin it. All right, guys. I'm going to disconnect. I will talk to you guys later.